I'm Steve.
And I'm Les.
And this is another episode of Tabletop Tasting, but we're doing something a little different. What are we doing today?
Today we are doing a top 5 of the whiskeys that we have enjoyed over the past quarter. So Q4 2024, of all the sip and plays, of all the playthrough and pairings, these are the whiskeys that we've paired with board games over the last 3 months.
Exactly, yeah.
So what we're going to do is our top 5. So Steve, kick us off. What's been your 5th favorite whiskey that we have enjoyed in Q4 2024.
So we have had a lot of really good
whiskeys. Much good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whiskeys, and let's call it spirits, because we've had a lot of different ones as we've gone through. So, but my number 5 is the Doc Swinson Bossa Nova.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we paired that with Mycelia. I really enjoy it. So it is an Amberana. So the Bossa Nova is that Brazilian style to it. So it's the Amberana, which can be done really poorly.
But Doc Swinson does it really, really nicely.
It would not be on my list if it was not done so well. It's so filled with flavors, right from the first sip, and then it just lingers so nice and so long. I love the sweetness from it. It's so well balanced. It hits you with flavor, and it just keeps going and going and going. That's why it's my number 5.
Excellent. It did not make my list.
No? Okay.
But I did thoroughly enjoy it. My number 5 is Michter's Kentucky Straight Rye.
Yeah.
The Michter's Rye, I can't believe I hadn't had Michter's prior to you introducing it to me on the show. But I really, really enjoyed Michter's. And we paired that with Railroad Inc., which is a fantastic, universally available roll and write board game. And Michter's I found to be the same. I found it to be a universally enjoyable bourbon. Those people know what they're doing. That was delicious. And that's why Michter's Kentucky Straight Rye made my number 5.
That's awesome. It did not make my top 5, but it's, like I said in the episode, it's one of the places I have to get to.
Yeah, that place
one
looks
day.
awesome.
I love it. Yeah, it looks so awesome. So not on my top 5, but that's awesome. I cannot complain with you. Excellent. I won't argue with you. Not this time.
Perfect.
So what's your number 4?
My 4th favorite whiskey that we have done over the past few months is Angel's Envy. I just thoroughly enjoy it. It's a very smooth, enjoyable, happy drinking bourbon. Angel's Envy we paired with Arcs, and that was a fantastic board game whiskey pairing because they're both heavenly in nature. But my number 4, Angel's Envy.
I do like Angel's Envy. It's so good, and they do such a nice job of it. In fact, it's actually one of the places I'd like to get to as well on Whiskey Row, but it didn't quite make my list. No.
Okay, let's go. What's your number 4?
Okay, so my number 4 is the Rest and Be Thankful, the Finglassie 2017. I really, really enjoyed it. And part of it was the pairing that we did, because it matched the game.
Tiny
so
Towns
beautiful.
and that game looked perfect. Like they were meant for each other.
It was like they both were made at the same time in the same factory. It was just so good. I really love the flavors to it. Again, just really nice and easy to drink. Just like it's not in your face. It was just so nice and easy to drink. Lots of flavor to it. I really, really enjoyed it. And that Finglassie, I would like to try more of those. I'm now on the lookout to try some more from that distillery.
How come it's every time I hear Finglassie, I feel like I need to start talking with an accent?
Yeah.
That was horrible.
It was very terrible.
That was very, very bad, yes.
Yeah, so that was my number 4, is Rest and Be Thankful, Finglassie.
Excellent. What was your number 3?
Okay, so my number 3 is from Ireland, and it is the Two Stacks, the Smoke and Mirrors. Okay, from the nose, I fell in love with Two Stacks. So the nose was just beautiful, and it like hits you, and I was like, I couldn't wait to enjoy the actual taste of it, and yet I just wanted to keep nosing it. It was so good. And then I had some, and I was even more blown away. I really, really enjoyed it from Ireland again, that 2-stack, so good. So tasty.
I consider that Irish whiskey to be fantastic, but if that made your number 3, I'm very curious to see what came in as number 2 and number 1.
Yeah, good. What's your number 3?
My number 3 has some similarities to your number 5.
Okay.
And that there's a little bit of Amberana in it.
Yep.
But I went for the Starlight Cigar Batch Bourbon Finish from Starlight Distilleries.
Can't go wrong.
That bottle I really, really enjoy. It's got the Amberana in it, and I like that kind of woody, kind of spicy flavor to it. Thoroughly enjoyed that bottle. And we paired Starlight with Wingspan.
It was.
And Wingspan is a game that's a modern day classic where it's,
exactly.
you know, everyone loves and enjoys that. And that's how I feel about the Starlight Cigar Batch. It's if you're looking to get into Amberana, that's a great place to start. And it's just something that everyone can enjoy. It's a phenomenal whiskey.
Yeah, anything Starlight does is, to me, is just always going to be good. They're not going to throw out something that isn't good. And with Amberana, again, kind of similar to the Bossa Nova, the Doc Swinson, you can do it wrong. They do not. They do it right, and it just adds that extra level of complexity to it, and that extra level of enjoyment.
Yeah, it's so good.
When it's done so well. Yeah, that's a good choice.
Okay, we're now into number 2.
All right.
So my number 2.
Who does number 2 work for?
You? I don't know. But my number 2 was Hibiki. Hibiki Japanese whiskey. I fell in love with that bottle.
I did too.
Floral aromas to it. The Hibiki Japanese tea that we made by mixing it. I still have gone back a few times and just made it as the tea. It's so delicious. That bottle is like a soft, relaxing hug. It's a high five with a good friend that you haven't seen in forever. It's just pure enjoyment. Shocked me how much I enjoyed Hibiki Japanese whiskey by Suntory House.
Me too, because it's my number 2.
It
is my number 2 as well. It really could have been my number 1, almost. It was just so good. And I love how it just continued to open up. And like you said, it was like a hug. It was like all the workers at Hibiki come with the bottle and they just give you a warm little hug as you're enjoying it. It was so tasty. It went really, really well with the game, Survival of the Fattest. When I was going through my top 5, I'm like, okay, for any of these top 5s, do I have complaints about them? Not really. There is nothing I could complain about Hibiki. And not a thing. It's just so good. Even when you pulled out at the end of the episode and we had the hot water, like that hot Hibiki, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I was blown away because even with all that hot water in it, it was still flavorful. It was just so good. Such a good one.
It is one of my favorite bottles as well.
Oh, it's
the
so
Japanese
beautiful.
are big into the 24 seasons, and it's got those 24 glass sides to it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful bottle. It's a beautiful whiskey.
It is. Number 2 for me as well because of that. It's so stinking good.
Steve.
Yes.
What was your number 1?
So my number 1 is actually not from a pairing. And my number 1 is actually not from a playthrough. However, it was featured in one of our episodes. It really was a nod to our 500 subscribers.
Okay.
And so my number 1, because it's in there from the last quarter, is Booker's.
So Booker's, that'd be the 2023.
Yeah.
Do you remember the batch number for that?
Yeah, it was batch 1.
Batch 1.
Yeah.
That's cheating.
It's not cheating. I'm sorry. It was part of our lexicon. It was a video that we did. And again, thank you to our awesome subscribers because we had to bring back the original to our channel and enjoy a Booker's, and it didn't disappoint. We really enjoyed it. It's like next level to everything that we had.
Right, but I didn't include it in my list because it wasn't part of a board game whiskey pairing that we've done over the last quarter. I can't argue with you though.
It was a thank you to our awesome subscribers. Yeah,
is fantastic. The 2023 season 1 or whatever isn't quite as good as the 2022.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah, but
it's still really good.
The 22 wasn't on any list because we were just doing our last quarter. It had to be there. It just simply had to be there. It is so good. Go out and get it. Actually, I had a friend of ours send me a message the other day. He's like, what number was that? Which one is? I'm in the States. I got to find a bottle. I'm like, I hope you do. And if you don't, that's okay. Grab any of them and make sure you share a little bit with me.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed with whatever
Not at all.
you end up with.
All right, so that was my number one, Bookers. What's your number one?
So my number one, not factoring in the Bookers, my number one is actually your number three, which was Two Stacks. Oh, I love that bottle.
So good.
It's got that sweetness, that just happiness in a bottle. Yeah. And we paired Two Stacks with Comic Hunters, which was a fantastic board game whiskey pairing. But Two Stacks was my number one because it's just a great bottle and just thoroughly enjoyable.
It was actually like a surprise to me that it was just that good, because even the bottle is a little bit unassuming, like the label and that kind of thing. It's an Irish whiskey, so it can have that little bit of unassuming portion to it. And then you open it up and it was just like, I love the nose.
Yeah.
I couldn't get enough of it.
It's a nose that doesn't stop.
And then it hits your tongue and it's just like, oh my goodness.
The Energizer Bunny. It just keeps going and going and going and going.
No, I cannot disagree with you whatsoever. Two Stacks is such a good one. I mean, Booker's is better, but...
Well, again, I didn't know Booker's was in the list. But that's actually pretty cool, because over the past... quarter, I think we've enjoyed, was it 17 or 18
something
whiskeys
like
that we've paired. So of the top five, we have two of them. Well, I mean, maybe kind of three, depending on how you want to spin it. That were in our list, and then some other variety in there.
Yeah, so exactly. Cool. And most of them are really, really good. So the top five is just like, okay, reflecting back, this is what I really enjoyed, and we've gone back and we've played those games again. We've enjoyed those whiskeys again. It's just so good. That's our top five.
We're gonna go and just talk about what our least favorite spirit is that we have enjoyed over the last 3 months.
I'm curious to see what yours is. I want you to go first.
So mine is not a whiskey, which may be why it's on this list as well. But we tried Dildo vodka. And that's Dildo vodka from Dildo, Newfoundland. We paired that with Deep Rock Galactic, the Dwarven Mining Cooperative game. And I mean, it's cool because it has a great name, but as far as...
it falls flat.
As far as flavor goes, that's not really great vodka. That was the least enjoyable thing that we've drunk and enjoyed over the last 3 months. Steve, I have a feeling, is that on your list as well?
It is exactly on my list, yes. It's a vodka. I mean, I'm sorry. I know there's lots of people that enjoy vodkas out there. It was actually not bad, but it wasn't great.
Well, see, that's
vodka.
I think I disagree with you on that front, because I think if you're into vodka, you're not going to enjoy Dildo vodka.
Maybe.
Right? It's not just because it's vodka, it's because of how it's made and prepared. And I know vodkas typically don't have a ton of flavor. Again, that may get some hate as well.
Sure.
But I think if you are really into vodkas and you like lots of different types of vodkas, you're probably not going to enjoy Dildo vodka.
Yeah, exactly. In the words of Fred Minnick, vodka sucks. But that's just an opinion, right?
It is indeed. It sure does taste good with orange juice, though.
I did want to do a bit of a mention, because there was a whiskey that we had that I talked very highly of it when we were enjoying it, but I've gone back and had it again. I didn't want it to just kind of skate under the radar. And like vodka, there's not really any kind of, to me as a whiskey lover, there's really no comparison, right, between a vodka and a whiskey. And it really is kind of surprising, because I've heard lots of really good things about this distiller, and they are actually a local one as well. And I'm looking forward to trying. It's not that I'm not going to try their new stuff. It was the Paradigm Chapter 1 Weeded. When
an honorable mention is a least
as my least enjoyable. Yeah, because we've gone back and tried it again, and I was, like I said, I was very complimentary of it at the time, and I think it worked well with that pairing, which again was not a great game to me anyways. However, I've gone back and I've tried it again, and it really falls flat for me, and which is kind of sad, because it's weeded, which I do really enjoy a weeded whiskey. I've been hearing really good things about them, so I'm hoping their next ones are going to be better. But as for me, like for my bottom of all the whiskeys, that we've had is that Paradigm Chapter 1.
It was very floral, very perfumey. The one thing I will give them, and I like their naming convention, they're calling it Chapter 1, so it's kind of an introduction. So as they release more chapters, hopefully we'll see some improvement.
And actually I think Chapter 2 is actually being released now, or is already released.
So let's try that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so this has been our top 5 whiskeys from the last quarter in 2024. We'd love to know what your favorites are or least favorites. Please let us know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. That means the absolute world to us.
It really does. It helps us to keep going with making these, and just really spurs us on to continue to buy more games and buy more whiskey and shoot them out to you guys to see what kind of pairings we can come up with.
My name is Les.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Tabletop Tastings.
That it is.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Because it is a whiskey, I wanted to put it into my bottom. So vodka, I almost was like that. It's like,
where do you want to put it? You should be doing that with alcohol.
Let's scratch that and start that one again.
Yeah.